Kaboom.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the AIB Show. This is Amit.
And Dominic.
And we are here. This is episode 52. That's 5-2. Wrapping out the new...
It may not necessarily be 52, but... All right.
I'm confused. It says 52 on the thing. You go on Apple, it says 52. Well, it will say when this one comes out.
Well, now I guess it has to be 52, but when we start...
and that's...
more, yeah. All right. Anyways, go on, bro.
This guy, man. How you going to ruin it? This is episode 52 or 53 of the AIB Show. So it is nearing the end of the year. The holidays are abound. Joy and all the goodness is out there, and people giving and receiving and all the good stuff that happens this year. My favorite time of year, Christmas. And in that giving and receiving vein, it was brought to my attention earlier this week, actually, that there is which is pretty ridiculous, right? So we all know the fact that many teachers who are underpaid, and if you want to, fight the positive side that you will never lose, the positive battle you will never lose, i.e. pay teachers more. Like, that's a standard fight, and we all say it, and nobody does anything about it, but fine, pay teachers more. They don't get paid much for anything. Then they even use the limited resources they have, i.e. limited dollars they get paid, to buy supplies to aid in the teaching of the students that they have in their classes, which I find ridiculous for a first world country, like just blatantly ridiculous. But so now what they were doing, so there's a situation, and this went down, I think it was Iowa, and I found it just sad as an understatement. And it was a cash grab. So what they did was, this is in an ice rink in South Dakota. Sorry, I said Iowa. In South Dakota, they put down, and in the middle of an ice rink at a local hockey game or whatever, a carpet. And this institution who was donating money, it was a dash for cash, right? And this institution who was wanted to donate money to the teachers, thought that it would be smart for the teachers to scramble for the money, i.e. they would throw a pile of money in this carpet in the middle of the ice rink, and the teachers would go and grab as much as they can and stuff in their shirts and wherever they can and collect all this money. The purpose of which, by the way, is to be used to then fund the supplies they're going to buy for their students anyway. Not even their money. Somebody their money they're scrambling for and humiliating themselves over to then give to the kids, which is just utterly ridiculous.
Humiliating is the way you said it right, because they were on their knees, like scrambling.
Literally trying for money. Not only that, if you are this institution giving the cash, just give them the effing cash, man. Why are you scrambling for the money? Just give them the damn money and move on. You've already said you're giving the money. Give the money. Like, what are you doing? It is ridiculous. I mean, the humiliation. I mean, I've never seen anything like it, and I wouldn't want to. It's ridiculous.
Good for the teachers for putting their pride aside.
No, F that. No, I don't. No, BS.
What do you mean BS? No, I'm giving them.
I'm not giving them. I'm saying that they should never have done that, especially for kids that aren't theirs, and the kids' parents are watching, cheering them on. BS. No.
Okay, but you could.
I don't
also
have kids,
say
and I say that's wrong.
Time out. You should. Wrong or unnecessary. You could also say
both.
F that for it's basically a form of charity. They're helping people unnecessarily. You can't knock somebody for that.
Who's helping people? Sorry, the teachers
helping the kids. The teachers are helping the kids.
But I'm saying it's not their job to help the kids. Is my point, man. I'm trying to help the kids education-wise.
It's not your job to donate money to charity, but you do. You can't knock somebody for doing that. We should be knocking, like you said, the group that put on the spectacle. I'm not knocking the teachers for doing something. If it's like a charity move for them. It's unnecessary and unfortunate, but I'm not going to knock them for it. I'm going to praise them.
I mean, it's so sad. I mean, so sad. It's ridiculous. And so I saw that and I was like, this is insanity. Is just, it's not even the right word. It's just crazy. On a quick side note, we're obviously live on Facebook at the same time. If you want to join, the link, join the conversation, that is. The link is on Facebook, so go check it out. Click on it, join the conversation. You can be part of whatever Dominic and I are deliberating or debating. But so that was the first thing I saw, and it really pissed me off. But Dominic, what do you got? Hope you got something a little more lighthearted, as we know you bring all the lighthearted topics to this conversations on a weekly basis.
You know that. In today's segment of Who Knows the history of that weird shape of Oklahoma. The state Oklahoma on its western end has like a finger pointing. You know what I'm talking about? If you don't, look it up.
I'm Googling right now.
Google it.
You can keep talking while I Google.
I figured you were going to Google it. I was going to look at your reaction. You got to know what I'm talking about. Just.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm looking at it now. Yeah, I didn't know that.
It looks like a finger. Like,
yeah. It's somebody's pointing. Yeah, somebody's
pointing. Who knows about the history of that? I'll tell you about the history of that. Very lighthearted. When Texas sought to enter the Union in 1845, right, as a slave state, federal law in the U.S. based on the Missouri Compromise prohibited slavery north of a certain longitude and latitude. Guess what fell north of that? That finger. Hence, they would not be able to be a slave state. So what did they do? They gave it up under the prize of, we're going to be nice and give it up.
So that section was supposed to be Texas as well?
That was supposed to be Texas as well. That's why it looks weird like that. Why would this Oklahoma have? And for 40 years, it sat there as unclaimed land, federal land, because Oklahoma wasn't a state then, right? Oklahoma didn't become a state, I believe, until the 20th century. And then they were given it. That's why. Less than 1% of Oklahomans, also why less than 1% of Oklahomans live there, because it was never really inhabited. So Texas, basically, to circumvent law and in order to hold slaves, decided to do that.
Did not know that. Did not know that. Okay, that's
good old
interesting.
U.S. history. And funny, somebody on Twitter wrote this. In 10 seconds, I shall have it.
Glad you got it.
Tell me more about how critical race theory shouldn't be taught in school. I'm a grown-ass man, and I just learned about this 5 minutes ago.
No, it's true.
Everything about try to hide the sins of our past. You know.
But, I mean, it's... yeah.
I posted something. I think it said something to the effect of, critical race theory is simply just accurate U.S. history. That's it. We're taught so much that's inaccurate or misguided.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Yeah.
Afghanistan. Frizz nuggets bad there and sad.
So,
I know you must have listened to the Daily podcast about it. I also watched something on 60 Minutes about it.
But it was a daily, and I think it was even the other one, the long form one we listened to, history podcast, Throughline. It was I think it was a combination, but to your point, this is probably the daily more than anything else. But it's crazy, but I mean, it makes complete sense. So for those of you who don't know what's going on in Afghanistan, so obviously we being the U.S. pulled out of Afghanistan. And in doing so, it had the Taliban took over and blah, blah, blah. And that's somewhere where
the mess that we created in Afghanistan, because that's where the mess that came from.
The mess that has been created over generations, from Soviets to the U.S., everybody to other countries trying to come in and take over. This particular one talking about.
Did the Russians create it, or did we create it by fighting communism and the Russians there, and then led to the uprising against the Russians, which led to this?
Well, back then, the dynamic was that, again, there's always this fight for good situation. There were Afghanis who wanted the Russians out, and they had freedom fighters doing that situation. Those freedom fighters, yeah, if it's against the Russians, they have it backed by us.
Backed by us.
Yes.
Right. But for their freedom or for anti-Russia? For anti-Russia, not for their freedom.
No, both, because they were fighting.
It would but it would be a result. So
they were fighting. The Afghanis were fighting against Russia. Then we jumped. Hold up.
Back around. The Afghanis. We're the problem.
The Afghanis were fighting against Russia. Mm-hmm. We saw a vested interest for the U.S. if we backed the Afghanis so they could fight against Russia. Mm-hmm. Then we go, hey, we'll hang out here, and they go, no, we don't want you either. Then they fought against us to get us out, and then we doubled down. So I'm completely with you.
And then when U.S. was attacked on 9/11, instead of going after the Saudis and fighting Bin Laden, we're going to Iraq and
I'm completely with you.
I'm
completely with you. I'm not disputing any of this history. What I'm trying to say is, in this particular situation is happening right now.
Oh, sorry. And then when we decide to pull out,
phrasing.
We just. That's what you said. That's what you said.
I said phrasing. That's all I said.
We couldn't possibly have made it any worse, Joe Biden. Any worse.
True, but
they're prepared for this, and then
everybody says this. Everybody says this. The preparation for this. Hold up.
No.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. My bad.
No, you go.
No, tell me how we could have.
Tell me.
Tell
No.
me how this was good preparation.
No, whoa. Who said anything about good preparation?
Well, I just said it was bad preparation.
I said
You
there was no
everybody
way
should do.
to prepare is what I was going to say.
Oh, yes, there is. Yes, there
Okay,
is.
that's what I'm saying. Enlighten me.
You could have prepared on the U.S. side. We left people there desperately. The U.S. people stuck there. We also left the Afghan people who were helping the U.S.
Correct.
there. They could have been removed before also and
Correct.
protected them. So that just answers your question.
No, but both of those were issues that I was referring to the
you're talking about the
economic
economy,
situation. That's what I was saying.
Collapse.
That's what I was referring to specifically in this particular conversation. I'm
we
with you
could have
there, by the way.
We could have reasonably figured that this was going to happen with the Taliban taking over, and then but the problem is the U.S. and the rest of the world are sanctioning them and holding their money. So what do we think is going to happen? It's under the guise of there are atrocities taking place, human rights violations in Afghanistan, which we believe, which we understand, the Taliban extreme. So we're withholding funding, but evidently donations and everything have funded 75% of their economy over the past couple of decades.
Correct.
So now there is no economy.
Correct.
People aren't getting paid in months. Hospital workers, people can't get money out of the bank at all for anything.
No,
you
so
try to sell things, you can't
issue.
sell it to anybody because nobody has money to buy it.
That's the issue. You can't get your own. That's one of the issues is you can't get your own money out of the banks. So if you got to pay for stuff like it's your money sitting in the bank supposedly. I mean, it's there on paper or some digital form. You can't get your own money. You can't get your money because there literally is no cash. Right?
Yeah, the cash. I didn't realize the cash is in the U.S.
Yeah. The cash in the U.S. and what the U.S. used to do to prop up the economy for a good period of time, which is why wars cost a lot, by the way, especially the rebuild, is they would literally transport you're talking like pallets of cash, legit pallets of cash, which we utilize to prop up the economy. And this has happened in every post-war scenario for God knows how long. But so this is not out of the norm, out of the ordinary. But the problem is when the Taliban took over and they're not recognized by the powers of the world as being appropriate leaders of the country, then you stop funding. When you stop funding and stop dropping out the loads of cash, literally nobody wins. Because sanctions, as you're saying, the goal is to get the Taliban to back down and say, and God knows what, and to support a prime minister, president that we think is appropriate. Like, I don't know what the upside is here, right? And you can't give money directly to the people who need it in this particular situation because that's not going to work either. But I'm talking, it is horrible.
It's horrible. And yeah,
it is.
And
yeah.
So where we started 5 minutes ago, where does it come back to? Comes back to America.
Yes.
Yeah, the global influence and
true. Well, true. But okay. So and by the way, this similar situation happened in pretty much every drug war. That was so every drug war in South America for the great period of time, a lot of the same things were happening then, except the money went to certain individuals. Even in Haiti,
except a lot of it was directly funded to that.
Funded to
the bad guys or the good guys.
Correct. Which was no, but that was the same thing. That was exactly what's happening in Afghanistan. Except when those people were then displaced, then the funding stopped. Same thing happened. My point is, it happens in every quote unquote war situation that every major power gets involved in throughout history, and it's because in essence, to rebuild the economy, you have to do that. But it is horrible, and it also gets zero. I mean, in the news, you hear a lot of things about the Taliban, but you don't hear about the people. And the reality is, it doesn't. I doubt it affects the great majority of people listening anyway, because it's out of sight, out of mind. But it's really, really, really garbage what's going on there, because there is zero recourse.
There's not. There is no economy. There's no promising future. I mean, you're talking about estimates up to 1 million kids will wind up dying. Starvation. There's no food. There's nothing, right? A basic food. Families usually would, for the winter, the lower income families store wheat and things of that nature just to sustain themselves. They can't.
Wheat?
There's just nothing there. Yeah, wheat. Like old school.
That's crazy. Wheat. No, it's rough. It's rough. So I wanted to bring that to light just because that's something that I recently learned about, and I thought it was crazy. Of what, and I mean, you hear about the perils of war, but this is, yeah, it's crazy.
Speaking of perils, increased, and I'd like to see the actual stats, but we see it in the media. Increased store breakings, retail stores, right? I wonder how increased it actually is, though. Is it just kind of the news of the week, of the month? So that's happening a lot, where we're seeing people breaking into large stores like a Target and stealing things, or smash and grabs into smaller stores.
Mm-hmm.
And there's understandably concern over this.
Mm-hmm.
Hysteria, if you will. And it was interesting. I was watching Fox News, Amit's favorite news channel, the other day.
Laura Ingram is my girl.
And and they're talking it's like, if I was up there on stage, I'd probably kick the guy in his nuts. It's back to the whole Law and Order thing, where if you're talking about Law and Order fixing, what'd you say?
I say you don't like the show.
No, I love the show. I don't like SVU or Criminal Intent. Law and Order was great.
Law and Order is horrible.
If you're
Continue.
it's so good. If you're thinking Law and Order is the way to fix everything, then you're either ignorant or pretty much racist, right? And don't understand the context of what that means and the negative ramifications. Law and Order does not fix crime. Mass incarceration does not fix crime at all. If we really cared about stopping this, and again, I'd really want to know into the numbers if it's actually increased significantly. If we really want to care about stopping this, the key is to get to the root of it. Same thing with defunding the police. It's to get to the root of the problems, to minimize crime, because incarceration does not stop crime. It leads to increased crime. It's mind-boggling how people don't grasp this in 2021. Increased crime. You look at increased, like the death penalty in states with the death penalty. Guess which states have the most murders? States with death penalty. So it's not scaring them. These draconian measures aren't scaring them. So on Fox News, they were saying, yeah, we should charge them with RICO laws because they're like planned attacks, and that'll get them locked up forever and this stuff. And it's just like, no, you just don't get it.
But that's always been the solution. The solution is out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
Put the stuff I don't want to see over here for a long, long time, because I never want to see them. And then we're good. And the rest of good society will thrive. This has been the thought process forever.
Peter on Facebook just said education stops crime. I agree. That's one of the many things. Now listen, there's always going to be bad people. There's always going to be shitty humans that are criminals. And
Peter from Facebook is coming to us from Europe, by the way. Just so you know.
Yeah. they deserve to get locked up.
What's
and there's other people that, you know what, they have hope. We can change people. Can't change everybody. Of course, I'm not some, pie in the sky rainbows. Like everybody's great. All humans are nice. No. There's a lot of crappy people out there. But a lot of things
have you been on a plane recently? People are just garbage.
A lot of things can alter crime. It's education. It's just the resources, the housing, the employment resources. It's I don't know. It's just frustrating that we keep going over this over and over. And the default mechanism is we're the most incarcerated nation in the world. And the solution is to incarcerate more. Clearly that doesn't work. It's Morant. Land of the free.
Oh, God.
We are not. Though we claim to be the land of the free. It's a pathetic joke. What else you got?
Some lighthearted stuff.
Yo, hold on. Speaking of lighthearted, I just got to look. Can you read that?
I can't.
Read that.
I can't. I just told you I can't read it.
No, you can't. If I can read it on the reflection, you can read it. Hold on.
Why don't you just read it to the audience?
No, just you read it. This is a voicemail I just got for work.
No, it's gone now. I'm telling you, I can't read it.
You can't read that?
No, my eyes are horrible. I'm telling you, I can't read it.
Oh, all right. It says, "Hi, calling about the property in Lantana." This is a voice transcription.
Yeah.
Call me back. I got a big fat chick. What?
Oh, amazing.
The voice transcription not working too well.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
No, so there's a Louisiana judge who was Judge Michelle Odinet, Odinet. There's a video on the Insta where in essence, she was joking around with, I guess, her family members. And I don't. So I'm also curious about this. This seems to be like a video at their house, and they're joking around about something. Joking around about calling black people the N-word is what they're joking around about.
Yeah, somebody was breaking into their house, and they accosted them or apprehended them, and they're reviewing the tape, going over it. The judge and her sons. I don't know how it got out.
Well, that's my point. How does it even get out? Like, is your son this much of an idiot to post it on the interwebs? Probably. But anyway, you hear her using multiple times the N-word again and again and again, and laughing about it. Now this is the judge. So the problem with being a judge in Lafayette, Louisiana, and where you're comfortable using the N-word in any situation, at home or otherwise, and you're not black. This is something that, you know, if I mean, this just speaks to the people making decisions on other people's behalf, especially if they don't feel the other people are the same. And this is obviously evidence of just that. No, I don't know. I've yet to see any recourse from this, by the way, beyond the social media outcry. But it's crazy. Again, her name is Judge Michelle Odinet, and she appears to be a horrible person.
And she's blaming it on medication, because Lord knows, you know, you have those ads on TV, of which I believe America is only one of 3 countries in the world that you can advertise medication. But you always have, you know, side effects may include anal bleeding, suicidal thoughts, blah blah blah. Yeah, and racism. Yes, that's why, you know.
And racism should be part of it. By the way, that'd be pretty funny. That'd be pretty funny.
That Tussin brought out my racism. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, so that I wanted to end it on that lighthearted note. But yeah, that's what I got. You got anything else for today?
No, except we're gonna record another one right now.
So we're gonna end this episode, record a new episode. You're gonna see us. We're in the same clothes. Don't go and change Dominic and be an idiot about it.
Why are you gonna call me out?
This guy's gonna go change the T-shirt or whatever. Come back on the internet. Peter's gonna see you wearing the same damn shirt when we come back on live in a couple of minutes, man. Let it ride, dude.
Be better, eat better. I actually started exercising. Look at that. Yeah, went to park. You ready for this? You ready for this? Shirtless.
You went to a party shirtless?
No, park.
Oh.
Park in public.
You went to a park shirtless? Why?
Yeah. You gotta get the sun, vitamin D.
You went to a park shirtless?
Yeah.
With your family? Was anybody there?
No, working out.
By yourself?
Yeah.
In the park?
Yeah, me, myself, and I.
What, like on the jungle gym? Like, what are you working on in the park? No, I'm very confused about this. What do you do in the park?
On the football fields that I sometimes play on. You know, there's some quick watts, you know.
Did you get like laced up with everything? Did you throw on the cleats and the whole nine to do this training?
Oh yeah.
So you looked like you were really, really an athlete, but you weren't doing much of anything. Is that what you're telling me?
Kaboom. Even worse is the hair issue is still there. It's getting better. So I was out there, kind of looking like a crackhead, you know, the hair falling out. We talked about last episode, that kind of stuff. And I haven't had a haircut in a while. So yeah, it looked interesting. I'll put it that way.
Wow, I feel bad for your kids, man. Legit. Because somebody's got video of this is going to come by. You have to blame it on medication and that stuff too. But all right, everybody.
Even Rom wadded out there, and even one of the days afterwards, I got an acupressure mat. You know what that is?
No, but don't you have a job?
With those little things.
Don't you have a job?
Yeah. Work smart, not hard.
On that note, we will catch up in a couple minutes.
All right, cool. Be better.
Talk to you guys.